Hey, it's Tanaya. Let's talk about Love and Marriage Huntsville that just came out. So this episode started off with basically Kimmy being left by her husband to go meet with Kiowa and Kiowa's husband. I believe that's her husband. So they basically had a very positive meeting. I was here for Kiowa, you know, toning it down, being nice, and you know, just wanting everything to work, you know, because on the reunion that was just a mess, you know, the Kiowa and Kimmy situation. It was a hot mess. So Kimmy ends up telling Kiowa about the whole vaping topic coming up from Tiffany, and how, you know, Kiowa's son was brought up to Kimmy at an event and Kimmy had no idea about the vaping thing. And you know, I think Kimmy really showed Kiowa a lot of respect to say, you know, this was brought up about your child, and I respect what you and my husband, you know, agree on as far as his upbringing. Let's just all be on the same page. That's it. It just needs to be communication. I don't know why her husband makes it so freaking difficult when it does not have to be. So Destiny and Tasha meet up and they go to a car dealership, and Tasha's like, oh, I want my hot girl summer car, my present, blah, blah, blah. And that's going to be important later on. So they meet up and Destiny gets Tasha up to speed about Tiffany. Now, this scene felt really fake because I don't see Destiny hanging out with Tasha. Like, we haven't seen them interact barely, like, this season. So that scene just seemed like, okay, y'all two go here and talk about what's going on, what happened at Destiny's birthday thing, and, you know, that scene seemed, it didn't, I don't think they're friends. I don't think they hang out. I don't think they'd be driving, taking a car ride together. I don't think so. I don't think so. So she tells Tasha about Tiffany and all the stuff Tiffany said at her birthday party, blah, 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 whatever. Now, what I want to kind of jump around to is Tasha and Marcel. So Tasha and Marcel are clearly having similar marriage issues that they had last season and the season before. Tasha basically surprises him with an unexpected counseling session. Why do they always use the same counselor? They don't got nobody else in Huntsville, you know, like that does marriage counseling? Because I think he's biased at this point. So anyway, they go to a counseling session, and Marcel actually opens up in the session or whatever, and his point is that, you know, he's the provider. He's paying all the bills for, you know, the kids, the house, and everything, and he feels like, you know, he's justified in that because that's why he has to work so many hours, and he's always working, and he don't have time, you know, for them together and doing a lot of stuff with the kids, because he's working his behind off to provide a house and a home and the bills and the food and all the other stuff. And he says, on the flip side, I think you spend too much money, Tasha, and that's why I have to work so much. What do y'all think about that? You know, I understand why he feels like he has to work a lot, but I also think that Tasha just wants him to kind of like cook a meal one night, put the kids to bed one night, take her on a date night. I think the things that Tasha wants is like so small that it's kind of hard for me to be like, oh, well, yeah, you know, he's working, he's providing, but it's like she just wants you to be her partner. Like, I think she just wants you to love on her a little more, you know, make her feel special a little bit, make her feel like you're still attracted to her. I you know what I'm saying? Like, things that when you're a boyfriend and girlfriend and they bring you flowers, or they take you out on dates, you know, every once in a while, y'all go to the movies and y'all hang out together, and like, I think she misses that. I think they're lacking the romantic side of their relationship, and it all became business. And I feel like that happens pretty often when couples work together, they take on projects together, because I know she's also involved in some of the entrepreneurial things they got going on, and I think you kind of lose the romance side because your partner becomes your business partner. So I think that's kind of like what she's like screaming for. And of course, like, Tasha is still juggling the whole, oh, I'm going to school, she wants to work, and she wants to do her own entrepreneurial things, her podcast, all this. Like, she wants to be a boss. She was Melody's friend for a long time, and she sees Melody doing it all, and she feels like she should be able to do it as well. And her husband is just not that supportive of it, because her husband wants a wife that stays home, and she doesn't want to be that kind of wife. But it's just like, y'all been married all this time. So have you been dealing with this for, I think they said they were married 15 years. Like, you've been dealing with this for over 10 years? Or did this just become an issue recently? Because I don't feel like it could have been something that you've been dealing with for 10 years, but I don't know, because it kind of makes me question, like, so what was y'all agreement like when y'all got married? And I think that was already answered in season 1, that she was going to be a stay-at-home mom. So it's going to be really hard when you take a man like Marcel, who has a very old school mentality, to kind of get him to be a 50-50 partner when it comes to doing things for the home. And it's kind of like Tasha needs a different type of man right now to actually be her companion with who she is now, who's different than who she was 10 years ago. I just feel like they're a mismatch at this point. I'm not saying they should go and get divorced or anything, but I just feel like they're just oil and water right now, to the point where it looks like it affects them romantically. And I think that's a huge problem. Now, when he said that she spends so much money and I really wanted to have him give examples of what he means by that, because she's saying, well, I buy the groceries, I buy stuff for the kids, and she says something about, like, when's the last time you bought the kids some clothes or something like that. But I feel like when she said that about the kids, it's just like, well, if he's expecting you to be at home, I guess he wants you to kind of take care of the shopping for the kids and the groceries and all of that stuff. You know, like, I guess he wants you to be the one to do everything. He wants you to do everything that makes that home function and those kids function well. And he just wants to bring home the money, you know, and he wants a plate of food and, you know, some sex. That's probably all he wants to do. And if that's how things have been going for 10 years, that's why I'm saying they're a mismatch right now. And I don't think you're going to change a man of his age. I don't think you're going to change that out of him. I really don't. I'm sorry. If he feels like she spends too much money, then he needs to know what. And there's no way you don't know this, but the way it comes off on TV is like you don't know how much money y'all should spend a week on groceries. Y'all don't have a budget on that. You don't know what the budget is every month, you know, to make sure how many sneakers you buying for the kids, clothes, pajamas, whatever the hell, school supplies, you know, like there's no budget around it. Tasha's out there buying a hot girl summer car. For what? That's why I said that was important to kind of link back to their session, because it's like, I wonder if he's talking about her spending a lot of money. When he said that, I figured like, oh, Tasha must be buying bags and shoes and buying shit, you know, like for herself. But when we had that scene where she said, oh, I'm getting my present, my hot girl summer car, or whatever the heck, you know, a new car. I'm like, what do you need a new car for? Y'all probably have several cars. So I'm wondering if he's talking about that kind of spending. But I don't like, for some reason, I don't think he's talking about groceries and stuff, little stuff for the kids. You know, I'm really wondering what Tasha out here is spending money on for him to say that. You know what I mean? All right, let's get to the good part of the episode. So Tiffany talks to her husband. We got to see more interaction between them. Tiffany talks to her husband about her whole encounter with Destiny at Destiny's birthday party and what she said to Destiny. Now, you can see in this scene that Tiffany's husband was like, oh, like you kind of said that, like why you say that? And then but Tiffany's like, oh, but I wasn't, you know, I didn't mean anything, but I didn't say it in a way or anything. And you know, but he kind of hinted that, you know, to me, the husband knows that she's a shit starter. The husband knows who his wife is. The husband knows that his wife be out here starting drama, and she just people say, oh, when people say that they have, they just say how they feel, they don't have a filter, it's like, no, you a shit starter. And you're disrespectful and you don't care about people's feelings and you're inconsiderate. The husband, though, if you watch that scene over, just look at his mannerisms and look at, I think he said some comment about, you know, how she just kind of says what's on her mind or whatever. And he's like, oh, I know you do. That right there, I was like, he already know about her. He already knows she starts problems and she gets into drama with her mouth. And she just hasn't met the right person yet to shut her up. Now, we fast forward to all the girls going to their little lunch, whatever thing they're having. And Destiny gets locked outside, but she gets invited to the party. Tisha tells Melody that, you know, Destiny has an issue with Melody and this whole Tiffany thing. And Melody has every right to feel like, Destiny, why didn't you call me to tell me, you know, you felt a way about how Tiffany came at you and you feel funny because, you know, Melody brought her there. Like why wouldn't you call Melody? I'm questioning, just like Melody, like I'm questioning their friendship at this point, because if y'all are close, because I feel like that's Destiny's only real friend on the show is Melody, why wouldn't you say, hey girl, I didn't really like how Tiffany was coming at my party? You know, like, it really makes me wonder, are y'all really friends? Is there another reason why she didn't tell you about her divorce? Like, it makes me question a lot of things. And I think Melody at that point was questioning a lot of things as well. It doesn't really seem like they have a real friendship, because I think, like, Destiny seems like such an upfront person. I would think that, you know, she would say something to her. So I kind of was on Team Melody when Melody said that. Now, the whole situation at the table where Destiny's like, you know, Melody, we're going to talk, but we're going to talk privately. And I think that's the way to go, because her and Melody actually have a friendship. I don't think that they should talk about it in front of all the girls and them adding their 2 cents in and getting all in their business. That's none of their business. But I just wanted Destiny to be just more straightforward with Tiffany. To say, and she was like, oh, you served me some ice cold tea. Like, no, Destiny, you should have said, bitch, you said something about me and my ex-husband that made it seem like he was cheating on me, and you said that at my birthday party in front of my friends and people I rock with, and I thought that was whack. You should have just gave it to her straight. Destiny was dancing around it, and I'm like, Destiny, I know you swing on somebody. Please tell this girl how it is and tell her how wrong she was, because none of us like her anyway. It's like, Destiny, just come with it. Like, just come all the way with it. But I feel like Destiny was trying to keep her cool at the same time. But it's like, I want somebody to tell Tiffany about herself, because Tiffany is the type to just throw dirt and hide her hands and try to act all prim and proper like she didn't do anything. But we don't have time for it. We don't have time for somebody that's sitting there talking about people's kids, because kids are off limits. We don't have time for people talking about other people's children, okay? And then talking about other people's man. Trying to embarrass Destiny, saying, oh, I caught your husband cheating. Girl! Can you imagine if Tiffany had met Tisha's mom and did the same thing to Tisha's mom? Oh, Tisha's mom would have swung. Tisha's mom would have swung, okay? But I think the next episode is going to be better. This episode kind of left you like hanging a little bit, because like we didn't really get to squash the drama. So I'm going to see y'all in the next episode. Bye!